and welcome to RD Classics on a wet Sunday. Today I'm going to talk about this car, which is the car I was going to do the London to Brighton run in before I did me back in. Fortunately, it's not going to happen this year. Let's talk a bit about the car. The car is a 1903 George Richards. It was a dated car at 1903, but the Veteran Car Club took the dating certificate off it because they weren't sure whether it was a 1903 or 1902. So they cut a long story short, they renamed the car. Instead of being a George Richards, they're called it Anonymy, which obviously stands for anonymous. But basically what we've got here is a four-seater, twin-cylinder veteran car that's eligible for Veteran Car Club runs like the London to Brighton run. Here's some of the past plaques that the car's done on the Brighton run. You can just see there's one there from 1992. Like I say, I'm not doing this year's run, but I have done previous runs. I mean, obviously, we're disappointed that RD Classics not doing the run. All the logistics was set up for the run. Everything was in place, but that's just one of them things. It's not the first time we've had a disaster. We snapped a crankshaft on a car going over Vauxhall Bridge once. We couldn't do the Ellis run because we had problems with the car. So the way to look at it, there's always next year, and we'll have a car ready for next year. On the plus side, we have completed the run the year before COVID, and the previous run after COVID, we successfully completed the run. Unfortunately, I sold that car, which I maybe should have kept, but this year it's not the car that's causing the problem; it's my back. This is a lovely little car. I was really looking forward to when they're running it. It's a lovely four-seater, powerful car. As you walk around the car, you can see it's got the original oil lamps on the front. I've took the rear off, wooden spoke wheels. There's a crest of arms on the back, which I've never found out what that's all about. Must have been in the previous owner. He had his own crest of arms. Look around that side of the car, it's beautiful. Yeah, it could do with a bit of paint here and there, but it's just in its working clothes. The front of the car looks distinctly like a DD on with the bonnet. Shaped with the brass sides, the old Dunlop cord wheels there. Good thing about this car is it's got pretty conventional controls. Obviously, it's got a steering wheel, which some of my cars didn't have. They had a tiller, so that's an advantage. You're jumping on something that's familiar. Down to the controls there, I've coloured them in. You have advanced retard for your ignition. You've got your throttle, your hand throttle on there as well. I've colour-coded them, so it makes it easy when you're sitting on the car. Because I've got so many cars, everyone dies different, and I've done the same with the gears. Sometimes you don't know what your gear you're in, so I've put little tabs down there. Obviously, green's neutral, first, second, and third. We've actually got reverse blanked off at the minute, because it's easy to get it in reverse instead of neutral. It's a normal handbrake and just works like a conventional handbrake on any veteran or Edwardian car. It's a ratchet system. Yeah, we're going down the pedals again. Like an ordinary car, you've got your clutch on the left, your brake in the middle, and an aftermarket accessory which would have been fitted is the foot throttle, which makes the car really user-friendly. The car's also been fitted with a speedometer, which is a really strange thing to fit on a veteran car, but this car really does need a speedometer because you can easily break the speed limit in this car. It's really, really powerful and fast. Personally, this car, I mean, it's in kilometres, but I've added over 40 kilometres easy. And I guess it would probably do 60 kilometres flat out. It's really scary. It's a scary car. To the left, you can see the oil plunger there for oiling the car. It has got a sump, but the little oilers there, I think it's there, they're oiling the main bearings. When you're driving the car to oil it, you have to turn the tap one way, suck a load of oil out the tank, turn the tap the other way, and that forces oil down into the main bearings. Like I say, it's got a conventional wet sump where the cranks are picking up and splashing oil, but that's just a little bit extra for the main bearings. There's a period clock fitted on there. I don't know why you would need a period clock on a car, but it looks nice. And like I say, the big tank in front of us is half an oil tank and half a petrol tank. The worrying thing about this car is I wouldn't like to see how many miles the gallon it does, but it's not much. It's not a lot. I would say probably about 6 or 7 miles to the gallon if you're lucky. It's quite a comfortable car to drive. I mean, the upholstery on it, the buttoned upholstery, it's a 4 or 5 seater car. It's a really comfortable car to drive. It could do with being reupholstered again, just like anything, I suppose. Nothing lasts forever. To get in, you just flick this lever over, push that lever, and the seat comes down, and your rear passengers can enter through there on the footplate and through into the back. Clever idea, really. You got to make sure you put that clip back in though, because if you're going around a corner and that clip comes off, you've lost your wife or your mother-in-law if you're lucky. So there's your mother-in-law clip back. Right, we're going to lift the bonnet, 2 thumb screws on each side. Like I say, the bonnet looks very much like a Dion bonnet or a French bonnet. You know, it's a French car, so obviously used the same bonnet manufacturer as a lot of other French manufacturers. I actually painted this bonnet and put the stripes on myself because when I bought the car, the bonnet was in such a terrible state. So the engine, there's a twin-cylinder, water-cooled. I think they've got it rated 10 to 12 horsepower. I'm not quite sure. I don't think it's the original engine out of the car. Somebody said that it looks very much like a marine type engine, which could possibly be right, but it certainly propelled the car along at a good old speed. The car's got a conventional differential on the back, which is pretty advanced for its time, so it's not like a chain driven to a diff. It's got a prop shaft into a differential with a crown and pinion wheel. It's got band brakes on the back wheels. It's only braked on the back wheels and not the front wheels. It's also got a device, if you let the lever, move the lever at the front of the cab, there's a device that flips down and stops the car from rolling backwards on a hill. You can see that by the 3 cables hanging behind the differential. We lift the seat and we've hidden the battery underneath the seat, along with a few other little electronics gizmos, which all can be took off again if we need to turn the car back to standard. So basically what we've done with this car since we've had it is we've fitted an electric starter, which is an almost had to have accessory on one of these cars. It's not period, it's a modern edition, but if you want to stand cranking that in the middle of London, you're welcome to it. Quick rundown before we started. We've got a fuel tank here, an oil tank here. We've oiled it up, it's ready to go. We've got an ignition switch here, so this switches the coils on. We've got the ignition retardant, we always started in retard. A little bit of throttle. Right, so we'll fire it up. Right, advance the ignition a little bit. There you go, that's better than starting with angle. So yeah, 1903 economy. George Richard. Right, we're going to switch it off. I always just retard the ignition all the way back. The ignition retarded, when you come to start it, it's in the retarded condition. Coils off, and just set the battery. And that's it. You can clearly see from my video that I'm disappointed about this year's entry not making it. But hey, it's not the end of the world. It's a car run. It's not life or death. But I'd like to wish everybody that's taken part, and I really do mean this, you know, because I know how much fun it is. I'd like to wish everybody a safe and successful run. If you get there or you don't, I'm sure you'll enjoy yourself, and I'll be back.